Alright guys, what's going on? Welcome back to another video. So today I want to talk about Senator Schumer's big plan to get the voting rights bill passed, how this actually starts with the House of Representatives and then it will come over to the Senate. We're going to talk about this because this is somewhat outside the box thinking, but this could work. We'll see. And you guys can let me know what your thoughts are on this whole thing down in the comment section below. But I also want to address the stimulus package and the update we're getting there and talk about some daily news regarding COVID as well. So first off, hopefully you guys are having a wonderful day, but let's get right to it. Here's what we know. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, he's found a new way to move forward with the voting rights bill. But at the same time, his plan is to ultimately change the filibuster in the process. Now here's what we know. In a memo to Democrats, Senator Schumer, he laid out his plans. And the plans are, it's going to start in the House. The House of Representatives is going to act first. The chamber is actually going to send over a piece of legislation that will include both the Freedom to Vote Act and the John Lewis Voting Rights Act. Now, according to reports just a little while ago, the House Rules may act tonight, okay? The Rules Committee. So, once the House passes this bill, it will actually come over in the form of more of a message from the House, and this will allow the Senate to skip the first procedural vote from the House. Okay, this is what's going to happen. By getting this message from the House, this is just allowing the Senate to pretty much skip over the first procedural vote. And the nice thing about this for them is that they can get by with this bill with just 51 votes, okay? Now, here's where things get a little more interesting. To move this bill and get the final passage of this bill, Democrats actually need 60 votes in order to break the filibuster. However, getting the 60 votes isn't going to happen. We know that. And at that point, okay, once they get to that part of this whole procedure, according to Senator Schumer, that's when he is most likely going to move to change the rules. But the big thing is still Senator Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema are opposed to this. So, according to reports, this process is most likely going to take several days in order to play out. But here's what Senator Schumer had to say. He said, and I quote, "Of course, to ultimately end debate and pass the voting rights legislation, we will need 10 Republicans to join us, which we know from the past experience will not happen. Or we will need to change the Senate rules as has been done many times before." So here's what's going to happen. What we're seeing is that the Senator Schumer and Democrats are going to try to push this all the way through to the Senate right until it gets to the final passage, which is going to need 10 Republicans to get on board. We know that's not going to happen. So that's when he's going to try to get the rules changed. Now, we know that Republicans and Mitch McConnell can ultimately change the rules one time. They did this with the debt ceiling. When we reached the debt ceiling and the debt limit, Republicans came on board and did that. They can do that again. However, it's highly unlikely that they do. But at this point, what's going to happen is we're going to see from the American people, do they really support what Democrats are trying to push through? And if an overwhelming majority do, there's a chance we could see Senator Schumer or Senator Manchin and Senator Kyrsten Sinema jump on board and ultimately, support this. Now, I don't know for sure if this is going to happen, but over the past few months, this is what the talks have been: is let's try to get it all the way. Then let's see if Senator Joe Manchin and Senator Kyrsten Sinema jump on board with us to change the filibuster. Because if they don't, it's going to look bad on them that they were the two holding it up. So, over the past few months, the plan from Democrats was simply just to get it as far as they could into the Senate and then hope and pray that Senator Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema change their minds. So, that's pretty much where we're at right now regarding the filibuster, rules change, and the voting rights bills. But let's get into the talks of the stimulus package and the infrastructure bill. What we know is that we got reports this afternoon, and we've seen different reports over the past couple of weeks, where Democrats thought they had a plan to get the child tax credit payments extended for at least 1 year. The goal was they were planning on 3 years. Remember, in the past, it was going to be 5 years. And I told you guys, the talks and the discussions were no, 5 years was not acceptable. 4 years wasn't going to work. 3 years was the likely outcome. However, 1 year was most likely what was going to happen. Well, that's exactly what it was. This was supposed to be a 3-year child tax credit payment extension for both children under the age of 6 that would have received $300 per month, and children 6 through 17, which would receive $250 a month. Well, here's what I can tell you. This went from a 3-year extension back down to a 1-year extension. That was settled on with Senator Joe Manchin. However, Democrats later found out that Senator Joe Manchin didn't actually support this part of the plan, even though he was the one that came up with the idea of a work requirement. So now, and here's the interesting part, we're now finding out that Senator Joe Manchin, he actually is opposing the proposal that he gave to President Biden before they went on recess in December. How crazy is that? He's opposing the proposal that he is himself put in front of President Biden. So right now, here's what is being talked about within the Democratic circle. Democrats don't know what Senator Joe Manchin actually wants. They don't know if he knows what he wants. So the talks amongst Democrats right now is that they cannot go through Senator Joe Manchin anymore because they don't know what he supports and what he opposes. So the discussions right now are, how do they get a bill done that doesn't have to go through Senator Joe Manchin? Here's the problem. Everything has to go at some point to Senator Joe Manchin. Does it have to go through him? No. Does it need to go to him at least? Yes, because he is one of the 50 Senate Democrats that have to be on board with this bill. The only other option is to go and target Republicans. The hard part with this is Republicans do not want to pass a big, the Build Back Better Act. They don't want to, charge more for taxes for millionaires and billionaires. They don't want to do that, right? That's the issue. Is right now where we're at is pretty much, yes, let's try to get more stuff done, but at the same time, they don't have the support. And so, like I said, it was probably at the end of last year, end of 2021, so just a few weeks ago, where I stated that the most likely option, and this is one that many Democrats don't want to do, is pass whatever they can now, even if it's watered down, scaled down, fine. Pass it, then hopefully that buys them enough time and enough votes that in the upcoming midterm election, more people will vote Democrats into office, which then they can get a larger majority in the Senate, and hopefully that would pretty much move Senator Joe Manchin away from that power position that he's in. And so that's kind of the discussions as of right now. I don't know for sure which way we're going, but as of right now, it's not looking like we're getting closer to a deal. But let's get to some COVID news for today. Now, here's what we know. Dr. Anthony Fauci says that we're not going to eradicate COVID, but we can at least control it. He's made that statement multiple times over the past year. He also stated today, and I quote, "I think, in many respects, Omicron, with its extraordinary, unprecedented degree of efficiency of transmissibility, will ultimately find just about everybody." So, in simple terms, everybody is going to be infected with Omicron at some point. He also went on to say, and I quote, "It's no way, I believe, aspirational but not likely, that we're going to eliminate it because A, it has a high degree of transmissibility, B, variants arise, and C, there are so many people that are unvaccinated. And we eliminated polio because we got almost everybody vaccinated. We eliminated measles because we got almost everybody vaccinated." I believe it was in, December, that we were like 70%, I think it was like 70% vaccinated. Well, 70% is not everybody. And what multiple infectious disease experts are telling us is that 70% is not good enough. We actually need to get closer to 85 to 90% in order to get closer to a herd immunity. But even 85 to 90%, if something like Omicron comes back again, everybody will get it. It doesn't matter. So this is what's actually causing a lot of issues for President Biden and his agenda of getting everybody vaccinated, because what we've seen is even if you have the vaccine, it doesn't mean you're not going to get Omicron. It just means that chances are you're not going to be hospitalized. But at the same token is, even though the Omicron variant is kind of, bypassing people that are vaccinated, here's the issue. This vaccine was geared more towards just overall COVID. And so that's the issue, is we're trying to right now fight a variant, but at the same time, what happens when that variant changes? It mutates, and we have a different variant that we have to go and control and try to eradicate. That's the problem. It's going to keep mutating, keep changing. And so until we get through this, we're going to keep fighting this along the way. So that's what we know at this time. Again, as I know more, I promise I'll come back on, share all the latest news and updates. I just want to thank you guys for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your Wednesday. If you enjoyed today's video, do me a favor, go ahead, hit that like button, consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.